Mr. Muys, I'll give the floor over to you. You have 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the Minister for making time out of your busy schedule to be here as we conclude the witness testimony on C-33. And so let me start with a fairly straightforward question. And what in your mind is the number one thing that Bill C-33 is intended to accomplish?
I would say it increases efficiency and accountability, to answer very shortly.
Efficiency and accountability, okay. So you talked about some of the chronology of what led to Bill C-33. So the Port Modernization Review, which began in 2018, the Rail Safety Review of 2017, that's when it started, the National Supply Chain Task Force that was convened in January of 2022, so that's almost a couple of years ago. The report of that National Task Force indicated 13 immediate recommendations and 8 perhaps longer-term recommendations, had a fancy cover and a fancy logo. And also, by the way, I should add that this committee itself did study rail safety a year and a half ago. We had 33 recommendations, but yet we only see one small provision regarding rail safety in Bill C-33. So I guess all of that work over all that length of time, going back 6 years, do you really think that Bill C-33 is the best you could come up with?
I think Bill 33 is a very good bill because, again, for the 2 reasons I gave you. First, on efficiency, it allows our ports to better direct traffic, to make decisions on how to be more efficient, to avoid anchorage, because we'll have information that the ports didn't have before, which allows them to guide traffic, to keep boats the least possible amount of time there, to load, reload. So that increases the efficiency and the accountability. Well, there's all kinds of measures that sure. To make sure that the ports understand that they have this very important economic role, but also a role within their community.
So let me ask then, because we heard from a witness just on Monday afternoon that the Port of Vancouver, and you talked about the importance of our supply chains to our economy. Obviously, the Port of Vancouver, our largest port, our gateway to Asia, a significant portion of our trade going through that port, absolutely critical. And yet this witness indicated that the Port of Vancouver is ranked 347th out of 348 ports in the world. So that's the second worst performing port in the world. So what is your reaction to that? And then how does Bill C-33 actually improve this?
That's exactly why we need the bill. That's another reason why I hope that we're able
That's not what witnesses told us.
That's why I hope we can work together to support this bill and make it, make it a reality, making the legislation. Again, it gives the capacity to the ports to make faster decisions, better informed decisions. Same thing on the railway. You will know how many boats are coming, when the trains are there or not. So that allows you to move everything quicker and also avoid as much as possible anchorage. So I think it's a big improvement. So
let me ask then, Minister, because at the first meeting studying this bill, we had some of your department officials here, and some of them are here again today. And I asked the question whether a cost analysis had been done, because we're adding reporting requirements and new regulation and committees and advisory committees and data reporting requirements. And the answer was no. No cost analysis had been done as to what impact, whether it's a small or large port, all of these new provisions we're going to add. And so we asked some of the witnesses, and we had varying answers depending on the size of the port, from a cost of $200,000 to adding 2 additional employees to implement the provisions of Bill C-33. So, this seems to me like you're adding all this cost. So how do you justify that no cost analysis was done up front, and you're just going to foist this upon the ports?
Well, what's the cost of doing nothing? What's the cost of being inefficient in the way we move the boats? What's the cost, monetary, but also inventory, and the environment, on the environment side of anchorage? I mean, there are huge costs because there are the huge loss of opportunities also. So again, this allows ports to be way more efficient trains to work in a more secure and efficient way also. And again, avoid anchorage, avoid the impact on the environment, avoid the impact on wells. So that's a big chunk of the benefits that this brings that you cannot necessarily calculate it monetarily.
Let me
but
ask
the
one more
environment
question
you can
because
calculate.
my time is winding down. So you talk about the cost of doing nothing, but yet, I asked you at the front end, what is the number one thing you think the bill will accomplish? And I would actually submit the number one thing the bill accomplishes is nothing at all. We heard from witnesses. You don't have to take my word for it. I can replay some of their comments. Just on Monday, we heard a witness say no material impact on the efficiency of supply chain. So let me repeat that. No impact on the efficiency of supply chains at all. Missed opportunities. We heard that numerous times from witnesses. One witness went so far as saying that nothing would actually be preferable to this bill. So given these indictments, and look, I know that you were saddled with this bill from your predecessor, so in fairness, maybe would you commit today to withdrawing Bill C-33, actually doing a proper consultation with stakeholders, and doing so on an urgent basis, and then reintroducing it? Yes or no?
Well,
5-second response, Mr.
I
Minister.
disagree with the premise of your question. I think it makes a huge positive impact. There's been lots of consultations. You guys are doing a super important work. There's been debate in the House. There will be in the Senate.
beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre.
And I still hope that you'll support the bill.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur.